is known as your rida, and the lower part is the izar. I always have mine because usually the ones that we have are not big enough for me, someone tall like me. I will demonstrate how to put this on purpose because people get there and their ihram is like falling down to their knees, and then they're like, can you teach us how to do this? So there are two methods that I suggest to tie an ihram, okay? If the brothers want to come closer to see, please, you can do that, don't feel shy, okay? One method is to put it around you and put the two ends together, okay? And go like this, okay? So you have the two ends together right next to you. Then just put your hand here, swing this around, and then swing it back. And then just roll down. Once, twice, and I guarantee you will not fall. I've been doing Umrah, I can't count how many times. We used to go every 2 or 3 weeks. This works perfectly fine. I know some of you want to use a belt. If you use a belt, go ahead. I've never used a belt in my life, and I've never had an ihram fall off of me. And I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never makes that happen. Okay? So it's that simple. It does not go anywhere. It will start to slip down though, naturally. Your ihram will start to slip down for 2 reasons. You're going to start to sweat, right? Especially when you get in the heat. And the material will slowly expand a little bit, and it's going to slip down. So every time you go to the bathroom, you're going to need to retighten it a little bit. But the good thing about wearing an ihram is, don't feel so shy about it. It's very easy to adjust it without anyone seeing. Don't feel shy about it, okay? I actually was going to take my thobe off to demonstrate this because we should be comfortable with each other. We're going for Umrah. We will see each other without shirts on. We will see each other in ihram, the brothers, right? The sisters will be wearing ihram, but we'll get to that very soon. And it's just that easy to tie it, okay? The second method, which is a method I used to use but don't really like it, you got to open your legs wide because you're going to need to have space to walk. And that's to just take this side and put it right next to you here, and then just tie this around you like that, like you're wrapping a towel around you like you just came out of the shower, and then just roll again, okay? Why people like this method as opposed to the other one is because if the wind blows this up, then this piece is still going all the way around you. Okay? The downside to it is it makes it very hard to walk. Your steps become restricted. That's why I said open your legs. If you tie it the exact same way, but your legs are closed, right? What happens is you can't take steps big enough for you, okay? You're going to go to run, and you're going to trip and fall, okay? So make sure you tie it properly. Anyone have any issues with that, you can ask me in Pearson, inshallah. We'll show you how to tie it. So that's the bottom part, right? I'll show you the first again, just like this. And then I like to bring it back on purpose, right? You could just tie it like that, perfectly fine if you want, whatever way is best for you. And then I just roll it down. Now, the reason why people might not feel comfortable with this method is because if this blows open, right? The brothers are like, oh, mushkila, right? The good thing is we are not taking the bus from Medina to Mecca. Usually when you're taking the bus, that's when you have ihram issues. We're not in ihram for a long time. That's the beautiful thing about, alhamdulillah, our brothers flying us into Mecca, to Jeddah, and then going straight into Mecca. The wind blows, don't worry about it, inshallah. Your leg will be exposed. It's very hard to expose your private parts wearing ihram, okay? Now, the top part is simple and easy. Just take your top part, put it around you like a towel. Keep one side longer than the other because you're going to chuck it over your shoulder. Very simple, very easy, not hard to do. When we're going around the Kaaba and we're doing those initial rounds, just put it under your arm and throw it back over. Very easy, very simple to do. Not hard at all. Anyone who wants to wear a belt, go ahead and wear a belt. Just make sure it's a belt that is suitable for your ihram. Okay? Okay, so you have the upper part and the lower part as I mentioned before.
These are just diagrams. You have the rida, you have the izar, and then I also have inside there, don't worry about it, no, it's okay. I'm probably going to take it off after people are going to ask, don't worry, just leave it. And then slippers. So I have my slippers with me, and I know a lot of people have this question about slippers. What kind of slippers can I wear? Well, these are perfectly fine slippers. Some people will say, hey, wait a second, there's stitches on it. There is no prohibition on the stitches on the slippers. The prohibition is on the ihram. Okay? As for what type of slippers you should wear, I'll tell you one type you should not wear. You know those slippers you wear in the bathroom that a lot of people use for the bathroom that just, go between your big toe and the next toe? Those are dangerous on marble, right? You're wearing those on marble. If there's a little bit of water, you slip like nobody's business and you fall and you hit your head on the ground. And I'll be very honest with you, I've seen people fall and crack their skulls right open in Medina, okay, wearing those slippers. So be very careful. The types of slipper you wear a good quality slipper, one that's not just, foam and super flexible. Wear something that's good for your feet. You're going to be on your feet and wearing these slippers the entire time. As in, you're probably not going to be wearing your shoes most of the time, right? You're just going to put your slippers on, go into the haram and come out. So make sure that whatever slippers you're wearing are slippers that will be comfortable on your feet, and do not wear those cheap slippers. Don't wear them, don't wear them, don't wear them. If I see anyone wearing them, I'm going to tell them that's a death trap. I'll tell you right now, it's dangerous. They're perfectly fine if you're not walking on marble, but the moment you step on the marble, and if there's a little bit of water, someone drops zamzam, you slip, okay? So that's with regards to ihram for the men. There's no specific clothing designated for females, for women. However, she has to conform to the Islamic dress code. So your awrah needs to be completely covered. An ihram for a sister is her clothing. That is her ihram. Can she change clothing? Yes, she can. So it's a lot easier. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it very easy for the sisters. If she wants to get to the hotel and after traveling and change into different clothing, there's nothing wrong with that. You can change into other clothing, it's perfectly fine. So for the sisters, you can do that. For the brothers, if you get there and you want to change your ihram, you have one and it feels too small or it doesn't feel right or it's making you itchy and you want to pick up another one, you just go to the store and buy another one and bring it to your hotel and put it on. Nothing wrong with that as well. You can change your ihram every hour if you like. Okay? So again, for the women, just make sure you're wearing your regular clothing with your hijab and your awrah is covered, and that is sufficient. Talbiyah. Do we all know this? لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. We all know that? We're going to be starting that in the airplane, inshallah. Don't worry, we're flying Saudi Airlines. No one's going to judge you. It's not like you're flying in Air Canada and people are like, what are you guys doing? Don't worry. You're flying Saudi Airlines. They know. They take people in and out all the time. So we won't be the only ones going for Umrah. There'll probably be 75% of the airplane people going for Umrah. So make sure that we learn the Talbiyah. That's what we recite all the way until we see the Kaaba. Once you see the Kaaba, you enter the Haram, you see the Kaaba, you're done with the Talbiyah. Okay? Prohibitions in ihram. This is absolutely important. Okay? The following things are prohibited for the men only: to wear stitched clothing. So make sure that your ihram is a proper ihram. They all get one, right? Yeah, so everyone gets an ihram. You don't really have to worry about that. We are not allowed as men to cover our head or our face. So when I'm in ihram, in the airplane, and if you see someone wearing their baseball cap or their topi on their head, tell them, you know what, it's time to take that off now. Right? So we take it off. Our head is not covered. Okay? Completely off. And I'll just take that off because it's just easier. Also, to wear footwear that covers the forefoot and ankles. Basically, you can't wear something that is going to come up to your ankles and cover your ankles. Okay? Like wearing winter boots. Okay? Shoes, debatable depending on the kind of shoes. Try to have slippers, okay? So we don't have to end up in the gray area, the shady area where it's like, oh, is this permissible, not permissible? Try to have slippers. You can have sandals. You can even have the sandals that go behind, sometimes there's a strap that goes behind your heel, which is very good, especially for those that might be a little bit older, right? It's easier to walk on. It's more comfortable for your feet. And if someone steps on your slipper, you're not just going to lose it, okay? So that's okay as well. While you're in ihram, no cutting of nails or hair. So make sure before arriving at Pearson, you've clipped your nails, you've trimmed your hair, You've done up your mustache how you want, right? Your beard is all proportionally correct. Everything is perfectly fine. While we are in the state of ihram, so about an hour and a half before we land in Jeddah, and we make our intentions and we're in ihram, don't be scratching your hair. No combing or brushing of your hair. Okay, no clipping nails. If you have skin coming off your lip, just leave it. Don't peel it off, just leave it. Okay? You got a little nail or a piece of skin around your fingertip that's coming off, just leave it. That is our patience with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how Allah trains us to be patient. There are always going to be imperfections in our life. And we, especially living in the West, we've gotten so used to living with no imperfections. We want to just remove all the hardships from our life and just live a very nice, glossy lifestyle, which is fine as long as we're doing it to please Allah. But when we're in the state of ihram, you're going to see, you will be thirsty. You're going to say, I wish I listened to Dawood and drank more water. My lips are chapped, and now the skin is coming off, and it's irritating me. I just want to bite it and peel that piece of skin off. No, don't, because you will violate your ihram. Just leave it. Just leave it. Be patient with it. Right? Lick it. Or put some Vaseline over it. Okay? You also don't want to put on perfume while you're in ihram, for men as well as for women. Okay? This is for both. You put on perfume before making your intention. So you could have your ihram on in the plane, and then you're like, you know what? We're going to cross the miqat in about 20 minutes. Let me put my perfume on. You put your perfume on your body, not on your ihram. So if you want to put deodorant on, you want to, put on some perfume, you put it on your body, not on your ihram. The Prophet ﷺ, when he would go for Umrah, Aisha radiallahu anha, she would take the bottle of itar, of perfume, and pour it into her palm. She would pour the perfume into her palm and rub it like this, and rub it onto the body of the Prophet ﷺ. So those of you that are going with your wife, make sure that she does that for you, okay? You don't have to, I'm just saying, it brings connection between husband and wife, that's what I'm saying. Okay, other prohibitions, no fragrance, no marriage. I don't think anyone's intending on getting married over there until after ihram. Once you're out of your ihram, there's no worries. In fact, I was asked yesterday by a sheikh in Riyadh if I can perform a nikah while I'm there on Thursday afternoon in the haram. And then they said, you guys can go and eat in the Movenpick Hotel. I said, it's okay. I don't want to spoil the group. So I don't want them to be spoiled on their first meal going to eat in the Movenpick Hotel. Because the manager of the hotel, his daughter is getting married, and they were asking if I could perform the nikah in Masjid al-Haram. And I said, I'm going to be busy with my group. Jazakumullahu khairan. So no getting married while in the state of ihram, only after. Okay? And also those of us that are married, make sure when we get there, while you're in ihram, you go and rest in your hotel and so on, you cannot have any intimate marital relations. Okay? None. That will violate your ihram. Okay? Other prohibitions, no quarreling or idle speech or actions. Make sure that you don't say anything wrong. Make sure that you don't yell or scream or swear at anyone. Be as calm and as patient as possible. And this usually happens when you're making tawaf. People will be pushing you around. The crowd will be a little bit thick. This time of the year is not so bad, but it still will be a little bit busy. So make sure you're not there and you're just pushing other people. That will harm them and that will harm your state of ihram as well. Okay? Sometimes people are in ihram and they try to go to the black stone, to touch the black stone. It is not compulsory to go to the black stone, as we'll see right now. It's not compulsory. Don't violate your ihram just because you want to go touch the black stone. Okay? You can always go touch the black stone after you're done your Umrah. No hunting. I know this is weird, like, what do you mean no hunting? Or going to Mecca, why would we hunt in Mecca? This is very important because for those that are traveling, sometimes you get hungry and you see something and you hunt it and eat it, right? But we're not traveling that method. The food is already hunted for us and served to us inside Saudi Airlines, right? So no hunting also means be careful of taking care of the natural wildlife in Mecca and Medina. You see insects around you, just go like this and move them away. You don't need to kill them. There's a mosquito in front of you, just, shoo it away. You don't need to kill it, you don't need to harm it, just leave it. It is in the sacred sanctuary of Mecca and Medina. Just leave it alone. You'll see an insect in your room, call the hotel, alright? Now, once you're out of ihram, that's a different story. If you are in ihram and there's a pest or a rodent or something, that's a different case. Okay, you can remove it, that's not a problem. But no hunting, no harming also of the trees, the plants that you see there in Mecca and Medina. You probably won't see any trees or plants in Mecca, but in Medina you will. Do not damage the trees. I know sometimes people go to it and they break a branch off and say, I'm bringing this home. Don't. Leave it there. You are harming the city of the Prophet ﷺ, which is prohibited for us to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow the removing of anything that's naturally growing in Mecca and Medina. Okay? Except with reasoning, and that's a different story. Masjid al-Haram. Upon entering the masjid in Mecca, Masjid al-Haram, enter with your right foot just like you would enter the masjid coming in here, and say your dua, Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, Allahumma aftah li abwaba rahmatik. Very simple, very easy. This is what we do when we walk into the masjid all the time. Okay? Stop reciting the talbiyah. So when you see the Kaaba, and this is one thing I encourage us to do, walk into the masjid but keep your gaze down. Like look down. Now, what we're going to be doing is arriving, and we're probably going to perform Umrah later in the night, so some of us will probably go for Salah and come back, right? So Brother Imran will let you know about this. What I encourage you to do is continue the talbiyah as long as you can until you see the Kaaba. When you go into Masjid al-Haram, keep your gaze down until you get closer to it so you can see the entire Kaaba. Because the vision of seeing the Kaaba live for the very first time in your life usually brings tears to the eyes. I've seen people break down like they lost a child, simply out of happiness, right? That they're finally there, seeing the Kaaba. So try to get as close to it as you possibly can, and then look up at the Kaaba. There are construction zones still going on. Try to get around it, inshallah. Tawaf. Once we get in, we now need to perform tawaf. Okay, so past the upper sheet of your ihram, you saw how I showed it to you before. So you want to expose, for the brothers, you want to expose your right shoulder. Okay, so you toss your ihram over the left side and under your right arm. This is known as ittiba'. Okay, so your shoulder is going to be exposed, just like you see there in the picture. Okay, we're going to do this for the entire 7 rounds around the Kaaba. There's also difference of opinion. Some of you might say, well, we heard that you're only supposed to do that for 3 rounds, the first 3 rounds. That's fine. Usually that's Ramal. Okay, so the first 3 rounds is when you're supposed to just jog a little bit like this. You will not see me doing this because I have a lower back issue, and it's hard for me to do that, especially on the marble while barefoot. But typically the men should be going like this while going around the Kaaba, okay, for the first 3 rounds. You will keep your right shoulder uncovered for the 7 rounds around the Kaaba. This actually is to expose our muscle, believe it or not. The Prophet ﷺ made the Sahaba do these 2 things to expose their bicep muscle, to show off how strong they were, because the mushrikeen were standing in the distance watching and were saying, oh, these companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they came from Medina and they must be weak. They traveled for 10 days and 9 nights to get here. They must be tired and weak and exhausted. We could easily ambush them as they're all making tawaf around the Kaaba. So the Prophet ﷺ, out of his wisdom, he said, uncover your right shoulder, because the right shoulder is facing out. The Kaaba is on your left. Your right shoulder is facing out. So uncover the right shoulder so your bicep is exposed, and jog to show the mushrikun, to show the non-believers, we're full of energy, and check out how big our biceps are. Right? So they didn't attack them. Yes? Good question. I was just about to mention that. For the sisters, you just walk normally. This is why for the brothers, you're not running. Okay? You're simply just hopping like this. Okay? You're going at the same pace as someone who's walking. And you'll notice the crowd will be slow, so you might be doing this in the same place and then moving slowly and then stopping and then moving slowly and stopping. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? Sisters, you just keep walking. And you do not uncover your shoulder as well. Okay? Very good. I know brother-in-law is looking at the clock. Yeah. Okay, your intention. Stand in front of the Kaaba facing the Hajar al-Aswad. Again, this is something that is suggested. It is not compulsory. You already made your intention. Okay, you already made your intention for Umrah. But now you're intending to make tawaf. So you're about to perform tawaf. Obviously, you're intending to do that. The Hajar al-Aswad is on your right side, as in, you see this green line. Some of you can see it. There's a green line here. This is perfect. Because you'll see green lights in the distance, and that is symbolizing a line going towards the black stone. Okay? The black stone is where we begin our tawaf. So we will come in, we'll be looking at the Kaaba, and the black stone is on our right. This is what it's saying up there. To achieve this, you may get help from the green light that you're going to see in the distance, which would be on your right side. Okay, you'll see it in the distance. We'll explain all that when we're there, because we'll be together as a group, don't worry. The intention for performing tawaf, like I said, this is suggestion. It is not compulsory. If you don't memorize this or forget to say this, there is no issues. Your Umrah is perfectly fine. You did not violate or break any of the pillars or steps of your Umrah. So here we see the Kaaba. So like we said, you're going to come in. We will try to come in from this area right here. Okay? And then even if we come in from here, or you come in from there, or you come in from here, there's no problem. You can come in from anywhere. The point is, wherever you come in from, you're going to follow the crowd, you're going to go counterclockwise, and you will come to the black stone. You see this imaginary line there? That's where the black stone is. Black stone is right here. As soon as you cross this, that's when your tawaf begins. So you'll say, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, walillah alhamd. Or you could just say, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. That is sufficient as well. So if you cross this black stone, the invisible line of the black stone, that's when the first round of your tawaf begins. You want to make sure that you have wudu at this time. If anyone breaks their wudu, as you're going along, your wudu breaks for whatever reason, or you need to leave and go use the bathroom, perfectly fine. Go and come back and continue from where you left off. Go make wudu, come back and continue from where you left off. And what we'll do is we'll set a point, a meeting point near the Zamzam wells afterwards, the Zamzam drinking stations. We'll set a meeting point afterwards where we can meet there, inshallah ta'ala, okay? You want to make your 7 rounds around the Kaaba. Now I know here it shows it outwardly. There's no specific way or area to walk around the Kaaba. Try to find an area where the crowd is less. Some people always try and go right next to the Kaaba. I'll be totally honest, depending on the time that we're performing Umrah, which is probably going to be right after Salat al-Isha, I don't think you're going to want to get as close to the Kaaba as you possibly can because you'll be stuck in very thick traffic. You will find areas like here that are far less traffic, even here on this side, where you can go, literally on this side, you can go right up to the Kaaba and just like walk along it with your hand, right? Depending on how many people are there. But usually the traffic on that side is far less, okay? Then you have the Maqam Al-Ibrahim, the Zamzam wells are here, or the taps, and then this corner is the Rukn Al-Yamani, the Yemeni corner, okay? We'll talk about that right now. Istilam, moving towards the right, come in front of the Hajar al-Aswad, as I mentioned. You will then see the black stone, so the green light will be right behind you, okay? Green light right behind you. And the black stone is in front of you. You will face it. You will never turn to have your right shoulder facing the Kaaba. Don't do that. Your left side and your front side will be the only sides that will face the Kaaba, okay? And you'll notice that you won't even think of this, it just naturally happens. I'm just mentioning that. So you'll be walking around, and as soon as you see that you're about to cross the black stone, we will face the black stone. You can raise your hand. You can point. But when you point, I'm warning you, you might hit someone, the crowd is going through, people will pull your arm. It's better to just raise your hand. This is from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ as well, and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Raise your hand, say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and continue onwards. You now began your tawaf. You crossed the black stone the first time. You go all the way around and come back. As soon as you reach the green light again, where the black stone is on your left and the green light is on your right, you turn and you face the Kaaba, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and you continue. Don't stand there, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Allah, no dua there, just go. The crowd will push you. I can guarantee it, you probably will, even if you try to stop, you will be on the ground in 3 seconds, okay? They will push you down. It's not as bad as Hajj, don't worry, but don't stop there and disrupt the rest of the traffic flow. Supplications during tawaf. There's no specific supplication for tawaf, but there are several recommended supplications. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. But there is no specific dua to make while performing tawaf. So you can do 2 things. You can make dua, you can recite the Quran. And dua also includes dhikr. But I suggest that you don't just do dhikr while performing tawaf. You make lots of dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I like to rotate. One round I'll do, make dua. Another round I will recite some Quran. Another round I'll make dua, another round I'll recite some Quran, just to mix it up, right? To get rewards, different kinds of rewards. The Rukn al-Yamani, okay, this is the Yemeni corner that I showed you right on this slide. This is the corner before the black stone. Understood? The corner before the black stone, when you get there, you'll notice it is exposed. The kiswa, the black cover of the Kaaba, is open around it. It's from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ when you go around that corner to just go to it and just touch it. If you can, great. You probably will be able to at some point in time. It's not like going to the black stone. People always try to get to the black stone. They don't really care too much about the Yemeni corner. But when you get to this corner, the Rukn al-Yamani, there is a dua that the Prophet ﷺ would typically make as he's crossing it. So once you cross it, and many of you will recite this in your prayer, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Very simple, we all know. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. It takes us about 5 seconds to read, but we have from that corner until the green light, the black stone, to read that. Question, what happens if you forget to say this? Nothing, don't worry. It is a sunnah. If you forget to say it, your umrah is fine. Don't panic, don't worry, it's fine. Take a deep breath, make more dua, and keep going, okay? It's perfectly fine. 7 circuits, so we want to make sure that we go around the Kaaba 7 times. At the black stone, we're going to say Allahu Akbar or Bismillah Allahu Akbar. It is from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. If you can get up to it, to touch it, or to kiss it, I do not suggest doing this while performing Umrah though. And I will tell you this, and everyone else that's lived there will tell you this as well. While you're in your state of Ihram, do not go to kiss the black stone. Why? Because nowadays people put perfume on it. You will get perfume on you, and that is a violation of your Ihram. So if you want to touch a black stone, or kiss the black stone, or go closer to it, do it after you're done your Umrah. You know, we're there for a few days, you can always go back and you can approach the black stone. These are just tips that I'm sharing with you. A lot of people will not know this. They put perfume on it, and people will come and put perfume because they think, you know what, this is nice, it's the house of Allah. But you go up to it and you kiss it, or you put your hand on it, now your hand is drenched in perfume. Violation of your Umrah, okay, of your Ihram. After passing the black stone, so if you can't touch it or kiss it, which I said I don't recommend or suggest, either just point to it, or the best is to just raise your hand like this and say Bismillah Allahu Akbar, and then keep going. You can say Allahu Akbar as going through as well without saying Bismillah, but you get more rewards the more you say. The end of the tawaf. At the end of the 7 rounds around the Kaaba, the 7 times going around, you will do the same thing. You'll come back to the black stone, Bismillah Allahu Akbar, and then you will pass by it. Now you're done. You finished all 7 rounds. That's where we said we will set a meeting point and we will go over to the Zamzam area. Okay? However, before getting to the Zamzam area, we need to do 2 rak'ah. Okay? We need to pray 2 rak'ah, which, actually a point here at the bottom, Ittiba' is now finished, so you can now cover your shoulders. So those brothers that are wearing their ihram, when we're done the 7 rounds, you now take your ihram and you cover your shoulder. Also another tip, when we're praying, let's say you're wearing your ihram and you're in the plane. Do you have your right shoulder uncovered because you did not go around the Kaaba yet? No, you keep it covered. You can take it off, right? If you need to for whatever reason, but you keep your shoulder covered. During prayer, if you're in your ihram and you're going around and it's time for salah, for example, and your shoulder is uncovered, and it's time for salah, you cover your shoulder, you pray your prayer, then you uncover your shoulder and keep going to do your tawaf. Okay? Because it's from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ that as men, even though this is not part of your awrah, you still cover your shoulders in prayer. Okay? Then we move off to Maqam Ibrahim. Maqam Ibrahim is, if you see there, I think everyone knows what it looks like. It's that golden, small dome that has the footprints of Ibrahim alayhi salam in there, and the stone that raised him up in order to build the Kaaba. This is in front of the door of the Kaaba. So you'll see the door of the Kaaba, just behind it is the Maqam Ibrahim. We go behind the Maqam Ibrahim to pray 2 rak'ah. Anywhere behind it is perfectly fine. You don't need to have it right in front of you. It could be here, and you're standing way over there praying. That's fine. As long as you're on that side